What is up, guys? We are back with another episode of Stumped for Answers. We are doing very well, very happy after Pakistan is 2-0 in their group matches so far. I have my co host, Vase, and I have our very special recurring guest, uh, AG, Mr. Atif Gill. How are you boys? How are you boys feeling after uh, the last weekend of matches, and especially the first match, and how everything's been leading up to the World Cup? Bosse, how you doing?
Honestly, I'm doing great, but AG, the floor is yours.
Uh, Very happy to see Pakistan performing. Uh, I was cheering for USA today. There's no,
Oh, we know.
I can't,
Oh, we
there's
know.
no two ways
Oh, we
about it.
know.
Listen. Here's the thing. This is what I explained to my wife. Since my last pod, I've gotten married and things are a little different now. So this is what I explained to my wife. I said, look,
Congratulations,
thank
congratulations.
you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, let's say you have a friend, right? You have a friend. They go into some like big competition, and they're going up against like some like superstar that you have loved your entire life, right? Of course, you're gonna cheer for your friend, right? So I have friends that play for USA Cricket, right? And I've been very passionate about USA Cricket for a few years now. Ever since I've seen some of these guys come up and do well, so it's hard for me. I mean, obviously, I love Pakistan, but when it comes to Pakistan versus USA, especially after the upset in 2024 that Wase was there to witness firsthand, I'm a big USA supporter. So I really thought that USA was going to beat Pakistan based on the makeup of their team, but unfortunately, it just didn't work out the way I expected. So here we are now. I lost a few friendly bets to a few people. So
Yeah,
um,
it's okay. You lost one to me, right? Remember, I said I was gonna go swim in the Ganges River if Pakistan was gonna lose today. So I'm glad that didn't happen. I would have ended up with some kind of diseases for sure. I don't know if I'd be walking after that one. Uh, but just leading up to the World Cup, Pakistan had a great series against Australia, dominate them 3-0 in like dominant fashion. I've never seen Pakistan beat Australia like that. Call it A team, B team, C team, whatever it was. It was complete domination. We had a lot of positives from that series. The bowling was very strong. I think they kept Australia under 100 twice. And then the batting was also very strong, likes of Aga going crazy at number three. As we've seen, his strike rate and his numbers are drastically different at number three. So
I
nice to
hope you
see
can
him
show up in the
there.
World Cup.
What happened?
I said I hope you can show up in the World Cup.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the first
Inshallah, inshallah.
game he had I think a bad shot after hitting three boundaries, and then today I think it was a complete lapse of judgment with on the last ball of the power play, hitting a shot straight to the fielder. But like I said, I think Pakistan is heavily relying on their all rounders after that Australia series. So, and then let's move towards the first game of the entire T20 World Cup, Pakistan versus Netherlands. I was in LA watching with my co-host and great friend Vase under his canopy setup, uh iconic fucking cinematic setup that he had for us, and we're all watching. We have like 70 people there, but a couple of us are like just crowded around the canopy setup, and everyone's like, oh, it's going to be a pretty easy game for Pakistan. And honestly, like after Netherlands started off hot in that innings batting wise, Pakistan pulled it back, restrict them to 145, and then Syme starts off well, and then I think he had 24 off 12, and then Farhan starts building his innings. He started playing very well, and then Pakistan starts collapsing. So Vase, you were there. We were watching it together. What were your thoughts during that time when Pakistan starts to crumble during that run chase?
Yeah, honestly, in my opinion, I have full faith in the top three, which includes Saim, Farhan, and Agaji. Aga was hoping he stayed for a bit longer, but with his mindset, I think in his mindset, he was going for the NRR. I thought it was going to be easy chase. I reckon 147. Pakistan had to score 148 to win. I really didn't like King, because his job is to anchor the innings, right? So especially in a chase like that,
Can
one
we please
is an easy
stop
chase.
referring him to King, please? Can we say
Okay,
his real
sorry,
name?
it's a habit, guys. Bobby. Okay, so the thing with Bobby, right? So the reason Hessen has him on the team is for situations like this. 140, 150 chase, he's the king of that in my opinion, because he doesn't need to strike at a high rate. So it was about Pakistan needed maybe like 53 runs off 50 balls. It was something, didn't require a crazy required run rate. He's starting off slow, whatever, and then he plays a stupid shot and he gets out at 15 off of 18 or 16 off 18, whatever.
Yeah.
I thought that was completely, it was completely idiotic. And then you just see our middle order just collapse, just like they've always done. Think 3 or 4 wickets fell in a span of 2 runs, or 2 or 3 runs, or something like that. And
Yeah,
then,
they went
hey,
from
yeah.
98 for two to 114 for seven.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we've seen that time and time again, and I was like, crap, here we go again. But I promised you, I had full faith in Faheem Rana Ashraf, and
He
the
did.
reason
He
I did,
did.
right? And I kept saying we're gonna win the match because I've seen him do this in these leagues. You guys are probably wondering, oh, those leagues don't translate to World Cups, but they do when you're playing in Associate Nation, right? So with any sport, if you're confident that you're superior than your opponent, you're fine. He's not under pressure, and he's done it time and time again. I mean, just in the BPL, he did it a few months ago. So he came in.
Oh
I
my
kind of
God.
knew he was gonna. I knew he was gonna I knew he was gonna lead us to victory. I swear, and that's what he did. Shout
No,
out
the thing
Rana.
is that I'll give Vase all the credit in the world because when the wickets were falling, he's like, "Bro, we have Fahim Rana Ashraf. We have Fahim Rana Ashraf." I was like, "Bro, no way," because I was like, "Okay, Shadab is gonna do something. Okay, Nawaz is gonna do something. Okay, Usman Khan is gonna do something. Okay." And all these guys are getting out right back to back to back, and I'm like, okay, it's 2024 all over again, Pakistan versus USA. Uh, Freaking losing the first match, and then we're at that time the game against India was already boycotted. So in my head, when we were 98 for two, I'm like, all right, we're playing for the net run rate. Let's try to get this over quickly so we can have like a high net run rate. And then I see the wickets crumbling, and I'm panicking. I'm like, okay, we're out in the group stage again. But AG, what was your mindset throughout that whole Pakistan innings, and what was your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it should have been a very easy chase. We did as we always do, where we get too comfortable, right? We were at 98 for two, and then all of a sudden the collapse happened, right? And I think sometimes we lack strategy in those moments because we get off to a great start, and then it's like the team loses focus, right? I think the one good thing that you've seen with this team is that ever since Mike Hessen has been there as coach, everyone has a role. Everyone plays a certain role in the team, batting wise, bowling wise, right, where they can contribute, to their capabilities. So I think when you see a collapse like that, it is a bit worrisome because it should not have been that difficult to chase that down. It did take some late game heroics from Faheem Ashraf to save the game, right? So it actually, me knowing that they were playing the U.S. next, it made me a bit excited because I was like, okay, the U.S. could, I mean, U.S. is on par with Netherlands. They can put up a fight against Pakistan as well, and I knew Pakistan had a lot of things to correct because I knew the strengths that the U.S. team had. So I was looking forward, right, to the U.S. matchup because I had told everybody, I said, look, man, I know this U.S. team, and I think that the way Pakistan is going, if they don't fix their issues, and this also goes back to like, there was comments like you said earlier when Pakistan just won the series against Australia. It wasn't the full Australian side, right? It was like their B or C team, right? And they did really well. They looked really well, but they still had, there were still like games where it was like a little shaky, right? They scored well in some games, they bowled well in other games, but we have yet to see a complete performance from the Pakistan side. Like we saw a bit of it today, right? There were certain areas that I think could have been improved on, but if this team starts really clicking, like batting, bowling, fielding was exceptional today, right? Which we have not seen in ages from Pakistan.
Fielding has
So
been insane the last two games.
yeah,
Against
Who's
Netherlands.
who's the head of the fielding department?
Babar Azam had a great catch. I have not seen a
who
Pakistani make a
who is
catch
the
like
fielding
that.
coach?
Usman Khan. I think he's one of the guys. I think Hessen brought him in, right?
Hessen brought him in. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And Aga's like said that if you're not gonna field, then you're not gonna play well. So as you guys saw, Salman Mirza, he took 3 wickets in that game against Netherlands, right? But you guys see his fielding; they have to hide him. He can't even field a regulation
Oh,
like ball hit to him, so it went through his legs, and so he didn't end up playing today. So I think that's good. If you're not fielding, you shouldn't play. I
mhm.
think that's how it works. And like you guys said, the games haven't been, I think, perfect so far. But against the Netherlands, right? But AG, you made a great point. They get comfortable, right? 98 for two. They didn't hit a boundary in 44 balls against Netherlands. Like it was just they went like cold. Like I have no idea what happened. They stopped rotating the strike. They stopped trying to hit any any shots. Like it was just like okay, like Netherlands just like became insane at bowling at that point, or what happened. But I think Netherlands had a strategy against Pakistan, which was keep the ball back of length and short, which they've been doing. I think in their last game too, they had a plan, and that caused Pakistan some trouble. But I mean, overall, Rana Faheem Ashraf, what an innings, and he went insane. Like that was one of the best T20 innings in the World Cup that I've seen from a Pakistan player. It's those cameos, right? That people will talk about, right? The 30 off 10, the 29 off 8. Those are the innings that win you games. So I'm very happy for that. And I think he cemented his spot in the team for another 2 years for sure.
Can I just add one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
World Cup started, Zid, we spoke about individual players having heroic performances, right? And throughout any
Hmm.
sport, whether it's football, basketball, any sport, there needs to be one individual. I don't want to say carries a team on their back, but they need to have a,
Yeah.
like a superstar-like performance and take your team over the edge. And game one, it was the boy Rana. Shout out Shabazz Sharif.
Oh my gosh.
That's his
Oh
boy,
boy.
bro. I mean, that's his boy. That's his boy.
Yeah. So I did want to talk about the bowling real quick in that Pakistan versus Netherlands game. We did see some mediocre bowling, I think, at times, at stages from Pakistan, especially in the power play, first 6 overs. We saw Shaheen being expensive. We saw Nawaz being expensive. They didn't use Faheem at all in the 2 games so far with the ball, which is interesting to see on slower pitches. I thought maybe they'd use him. And then they didn't use Syme until like the 15th or 16th over. And first over, he comes in and he takes 2 wickets. So I think that was just really weird. I think Shaheen has been extremely out of form. Even today, he looked horrible. And against the Netherlands, he looked horrible too. So, I mean, how much leeway are they going to give Shaheen? You know? And I wanted to play a quick game with you guys. It's would you rather Shaheen Shah free the edition. So if we can do a quick segment on the show, I think this is the first time we're doing it. So and this is for T20. So would you rather Shaheen Shah free the edition? So I'm gonna start off like pretty slow and ramp it up kind of, okay? So we're gonna go with would you rather Shaheen Shah Afridi or Salman Mirza?
Salman Mirza.
AG?
I'd stick with Shaheen Shah Afridi.
Okay, so you guys are disagreeing there. Shaheen Shah Afridi or Mustafizur Rahman?
Mustafizur Rahman.
Yeah, I would have to go with
AG?
Fizz there.
Okay. Uh, Shaheen Shah Afridi or um, Jacob Duffy from New Zealand?
Shaheen Shah Afridi.
No comparison. Shaheen Shah Afridi in a heartbeat.
Okay. Jacob Duffy's been bowling pretty well, guys. I mean, so okay. Shaheen Shah Afridi or Arshdeep Singh?
Zay, that's crazy because I was just thinking about that one. And I saw a tweet somewhere like they were comparing them. Hands down, Steep Singh.
Yeah, I agree. Arshdeep Singh has been bowling exceptionally well, right? He swinging the ball, right? He gets good. He's good pace on the ball. He's been playing really well, and it's like a sleeper role, right? Because nobody really thinks about him as being the guy for India because everyone always focuses on Bumrah. But Arshdeep Singh bowls really well, takes a lot of wickets.
Okay, so you guys are agreeing on Arshdeep Singh there. Okay. Another teammate of Shaheen, and he hasn't been playing, so he might take a spot, or Shaheen Shah or Naseem Shah in T20s. I think this one's tough.
Bro, I mean, just what I've seen from Shaheen Shafiri the last like the first two World Cup games, I personally don't want to see him in the next game, so I'll probably give the nod to Naseem. Yeah.
AG.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know that Naseem Shah's my boy. He told me he was injured, that's why, but he might play next game.
Yes, of
So,
course.
I mean, I like Naseem. Shaheen Shah, I think there's an issue with him, and I think if you watch today's game, Wasim Akram actually broke down his bowling action compared to
They did.
2024. So it's kind of, it's I don't know what's going on, and maybe it's the coaching, maybe it's just him, maybe he's after that knee surgery that he had a few years ago, it just he hasn't been himself, but he's the best of what we have right now. But I would love to see Naseem Shah either take his place or bowl with him.
Okay, last one for you guys. Shaheen Shah Afridi or KG Rabada?
Rabada.
Yeah, Rabada
AG?
in a heartbeat, bro. Yeah, I take
Okay.
Rabada. There's
So
no
we
doubt.
Yeah, easy,
okay,
easy.
so we've seen that Shaheen Shah Afridi's stock has kind of dropped significantly. Like at one time we probably thought of him as a top 5 T20 bowler, fast bowler in the world, and right now it seems like with what you guys have would you rather edition Shaheen Shah Afridi, it would seem like he's not a top 5 T20 bowler. And I'd agree with you guys, honestly. I don't, I think his form has been pretty horrendous. I think he's just looking for that in swinging Yorker
Yep,
delivery or
yep.
full ball to try to get someone LBW or bowled. But on these pitches, that's not the bowl you have to. That's not the line and length that you have to go for, right? It's the back of the length delivery that is troubling the batsman instead of that full delivery. And you've seen him get punished. So thank you guys for playing. I appreciate it. That was the first edition of that. Um, let's move on to today's game. Um, and AG, I'll let you take the lead on this. Pakistan versus USA. You are a avid follower of the US team, and you thought that honestly Pakistan was going to lose today. So can you let us know like what has been the positives for the US leading into this World Cup, and who are the guys that you were looking for to step up?
Yeah, so the U.S. has a lot of talented players. A lot of them international players that have now moved to the U.S. and become citizens or have gained residency here. There's a lot of talent. For instance, they have an opening batsman, Andres Gause. So Andres Gause is from South Africa, as is one of the
Hmm.
bowlers who's the leading wicket taker right now in the tournament, Shadley Ben Shelwick. They're both from South Africa. And so Andres Gause played a very high level of cricket in South Africa. He's actually a wicket keeper. And at the time that he was coming up alongside of who's the South African wicketkeeper right now? Keep the captain.
Quinton de Kock,
Um Quinton de Kock,
Markram.
yes, sorry. It completely slipped my
Oh,
mind.
Quinton
Yeah,
de
no.
Kock. Yeah.
Quinton de Kock. So they were coming up together and Quinton de Kock, was just ahead of him at certain stages and he realized, okay, this guy's here to stay. Like his career is gonna be a good 15, 20
Hmm.
years. So at that point he packed up his bags, right? Because he really wanted to play for South Africa, moved to the US. So he's a big name. He also plays in like he plays IPL sorry, not IPL, PSL. He plays in other leagues as well. Very talented opening batsman, very good keeper. They have a lot of other players as well that are very, very talented from overseas. Some guys that have played in IPL, some guys that have played very high level Ranji Trophy in India. We also have guys like, for instance, Ehsan Adil, who used to play for Pakistan, right? So just a lot of
2015 World
talent.
Cup.
Yeah. So a lot of talent has matriculated to the U.S. and they've put together a very good team. Even since the 2024 World Cup, it's like there's been a lot of changes, which I felt like made the team very, very strong, batting and bowling. But unfortunately, things didn't work out today, and there's several reasons for that, and we can touch on that, in a bit. But I thought they had a very strong team. I think they had a really good chance to kind of, build on 2024 and maybe make it to the next
Mhm.
round, but just didn't work out.
I'd like to add though, they gave India a run for their money, and honestly, I think they had them against the ropes. I think they played better against India than they did against Pakistan, and people are not talking about that. They had India quaking at their boots at like 72 for six, and Sky kind of had that heroic captain's innings, which kind of saved them. But Shadley went crazy with that four-wicket haul, and they had the strongest batting lineup in the world, which averages 250 runs in T20 cricket, quaking in their boots. So, AG, I know you're a fan of the Indian batting lineup as well. So, what was your take on that?
The way you're laughing, you are.
No, I get a lot of hate for being an Indian fan sometimes, but truthfully, I don't like that team at all. But yeah, I mean, U.S. had them bundled. You know, they were bowling well. Um, Shad took 4 wickets. I knew as I was watching the game, the key moment was when Shubham Ranjane dropped Sky on 15, and I was like, you know what? For a guy like Sky with the experience that he has, he's gonna make him pay for it, right? He's not gonna get out cheaply. Like that was a wake up call because everyone was kind of coming in and just kind of swinging wildly. Hardik Pandya hit a couple of boundaries and then got out on a bad shot. So I was like, this guy's gonna stick around, and this is gonna be the reason why they're gonna put up a good total. So that was USA at its best, right? And that's why I thought coming into this that they would be able to beat Pakistan because I knew the strength of their bowling, I knew the strength of their batting, right? It just once India got up to I think they scored like 170 something, you know, I knew it would be a little bit
Mhm.
tough. You know, U.S. is still an associated nation, so those type of totals like the scoreboard pressure is always there for a small country like the USA. So same thing happened today where you know, had they batted first, it might have been a completely different ballgame.
Yeah, so I think we can come to a conclusion that Pakistan's batting is stronger than India because they took that same bowling attack for 190 today, right, Vase? Don't you agree? Wait, can you guys hear me?
Um, honestly, right now, yes, I can hear you now. First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to Mike Hessen. Let me just okay, we got Zayd off the grid right now. AG, since Z's gone for right now, how many Pacers do you play on the Feb 15th match?
So I think you stick with the one, right? I think the biggest thing for me, what is very important for Pakistan in order for them to succeed, is that they need to make the right changes, right? So, for instance, in today's game against the U.S., right? The U.S. is going up against a big total. They brought in Shaheen for the first over. They brought in Simon for the next. Simon got hit. I think he went for like 10 or 12 runs, right? And then they pulled him off immediately, right? Shaheen came back for the third, and then the fourth over you saw Brock come in, right? So the thing is I think sometimes you have to stick to your guns because even as the most important thing is as a bowler, right? Sometimes you need to build up that rhythm. In T20, obviously you only have 4 overs, right? But if you don't give a guy like Siam, especially who is currently the number one all rounder, right, in the world, right? If you immediately pull him off, right, you know that you're going to need him later on, right? So it's like sometimes that also works against you, right? Because as a captain, you're trying to figure out what's going to work, right? Because even though the pitch performed one way in the first innings, it could be completely different in the second innings, right? So I think Saman Aliaga has to do a better job at getting his combinations correct. And I think that's very, very crucial against a team like India.
I'm there with you. And Z, we lost you for a second, so I just asked AG whether or not he would stick with the one-time full pacer for the next match, just based off what's happened the first two matches.
Oh
And
yeah,
yeah, he also agrees that one full-time pacer I think should suffice.
yeah. I think one full-time pacer.
But I mean, just if I can add what happened today.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
We lost him again.
Zay, I don't know what's going on in Chicago. Cause I'm back in Chicago, I'm real.
Wait.
Yeah, I think traditionally we've always gone with, no matter where we played, whether it
Three,
be
bro.
Pakistan.
Literally, we all been on three.
Yeah, we've always gone with more pacers than we've needed. And in Sri Lanka, as you know, you saw today, it's spin
Spin
heavens.
heaven, baby.
Yeah, and I think
Spin heaven.
And that's we were talking about this when it came to the USA team, where it was like it seemed like they were waiting for the Pacers to come in, right? And it was like Pakistan never had to bowl Shaheen again. They had enough spinners where they could have rode out the entire. They could have done the 2 overs of Shaheen in the power play, and then did 18 overs of spin.
All spinners.
Yeah,
Yep, exactly.
there was no need to bring even Shaheen back at the end in the death overs.
Which upset me to an extent because your spinners are bowling exceptionally. There was no reason to bring in Shaheen, I believe, and he went for like 18 overs in the over number 17 or 16. I mean, I just don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, Aga can learn from this, but he needs to under. He did the same thing. I believe it was the Asia Cup where he played a bowler. There was a 1-2 combo which was going extremely well, and then he kind of changed that up against India in the final, and that and that came out costly. But I did like how he stuck with the Shadab Nawaz mix from like overs 8 to like 14, whatever it was. That I think stole the game away from the US. But I mean, let me just give a shout out to Mike Hessen, guys, because this guy deserves a statue at Gaddafi Stadium in Islamabad, in Multan, and Rawalpindi in Karachi because this guy has changed the culture of Pakistan cricket. I swear this is the first time in history Babar Azam, bro, was on 46. Let me just tell you this. Babar's on 46. I was waiting for him to play dot, 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 maybe go for a boundary, whatever. Next ball, aerial shot. The happiest guy in this stadium was probably Mike Hessen saying this guy's finally playing for the team. I swear, that's a shot he's playing for the team. Amazing. Shadab Khan, baby. 30 off 12?
Yeah, 30 off
300 plus
12.
strike rate? Freaking 4 overs, 26 runs, 2 wickets. I mean, bro, the all-rounder boy is back. What are you guys' thoughts on Muhammad Nawaz though? Because first 2 games, bit iffy with the bat. Surely, bowling wise, he gave up 38 runs first match. I think second match today against the US, he bowled pretty well. But do you stick your guns with Muhammad Nawaz, boys?
Can you guys hear me now? Am I
Oh yeah,
better?
we can see you too.
Okay, I don't know. I got that Walmart great value Wi-Fi going right now. But no, you made some great points, and I think in terms of why Aga used Shaheen in the end there is because I think it was just like a confidence booster type thing because he's been getting smacked around and the game was already kind of over. So maybe if he came in and took like 2, 3 wickets at the death, that would like boost his confidence, which really didn't happen. He got smacked around. But in terms of Babar Azam, I'm going to touch. I think that was the best innings he's played since 2023. Uh, and even though it was like a slow start, I'm glad he like picked his bowler, which was Harmeet, and kind of took him to the cleaners in that over. Right, Harmeet was dropping short, and he rocked back, and that's like his go-to shot against spinners that he can hit for boundaries. Otherwise, I think it's hard for him to hit shots against spinners. I think he just has that one release shot. Otherwise, if you see him trying to hit an aerial shot, it's like he's putting all his strength into that one shot, and the ball's not going anywhere. So, but I'm glad to see that he had that nice innings, hit a couple boundaries. So that was nice to see. And in terms of Nawaz, his bowling has been a little iffy in the first game. I think today was better. But his batting has been extremely disappointing, and I'm not sure why they're bumping him up the order over guys like Usman Khan and Shadab. I understand you want to do the lefty righty combo, but in the last game he had like a 50 strike rate. He had 6 off like 12 balls, and today he had 5 off 10 balls. So I'm not really happy with his batting. In terms of bowling wise, I think he's doing okay, and I don't see him being dropped from the team as of now. But I think definitely batting wise, he has to kind of figure it back out because he was batting well in the Asia Cup and some innings before that. But I think he should be at like 7 or 8 at this point. Maybe send Faheem Ashraf over him too.
Honestly, one question. Okay, one more question for you guys. Do you stick with Osman Khan? 2 ducks, not duck. I mean, both games combined runs he scored is 0. I know today he was run out, and I feel like him and Shaheen kind of had a scuffle, to be honest, because Shaheen kept trying to take strike, even
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
over four, Osman wasn't giving it, which makes sense because Osman's a more capable batter. But in my opinion, Shaheen can come in just off 1 or 2 balls, and he'll for sure get you a boundary, most likely a 6. So would you stick with Usman Khan for the next match, or would you replace some with Khwaja Nafi? The only reason I would probably wouldn't was because I think Usman Khan's a far superior wicketkeeper than Khwaja Nafi, and I think that can be costly if our wicket keeping isn't up to par next game.
I'll let AG take this first.
Yeah, so I feel like if Usman Khan is not batting, you're kind of wasting him, right? If he's not coming in at a position where he can contribute to the batting lineup, and I'm saying this with a grain of salt because he's a top order batsman, right? So you would have to move somebody around in your top four to give him a chance, right? And when it comes to like, okay, for instance, when it comes to guys like Nawaz, right? They've spent their careers being hitters down the order, right? You send him in early, basically you're telling him, hey man, go rotate the strike because Sabzada Farhan is hitting the ball well. He's connecting. And I think this also goes back to what you talked about, Bobber, was this could have been one of the biggest confidence boosts for this guy after several years because for years he's been batting with a guy who bats much like him, which was Rizwan. So they weren't looking for boundaries, right? They were happy doing single doubles and dragging the game to the 15th, 16th over and then trying to put up some runs at that point, right? When you have a guy on the opposite end who's striking the ball like Farhan was striking it, then it gives you a little confidence to say, okay, maybe I can do the same thing, right? If your partner on the other end is just looking for singles and doubles, you're content getting singles and doubles. So I think that was a very big confidence boost for him, and I think that was probably the best thing that could have happened in terms of him knowing like, hey man, I still got a little juice in me, right? Because early on, and we were talking about this, it was like he was swinging with everything he had in his might, and he couldn't connect, right? There was a no ball that he faced where we were like, okay, let's see if he can clear the boundary, and he literally went to swing at it and he hit it with one hand, right? He pulled it with
Yeah,
one hand
one-handed shot.
and it went for a single, right? And at that point, it looked very dire. It was like, oh man, here we go again, another bobber inning that we've been used to over the last several years. But I think Saib Zada Farhan being on the other end really probably talked to him and said, look, man, this is what they're doing, and just go for it, right? That's what I'm doing. That's what he was doing. He's like, okay, just go for it, right? Build up your confidence. There's going to be bad balls because obviously you're playing an associate nation, right? It's not like you're playing top tier bowling. The bad balls will come, put it away, right? And that's what he did, and it was a great innings, right? So that's a big boost. Now for Nawaz, it's like here's a guy that's come down the order for several years. Now you're telling him, hey, go rotate the strike, right? Sometimes these guys they just don't have that ability to do it. That's the weirdest thing for me to say because they're international players, but they've been playing in a role for so long, right? That they can't adjust, right? They're not used to it, right? Because this is a guy that comes and bats at 6, 7, 8. Now you're sending him up the order to say, hey, just rotate strike, give it to the other guy, and he's just not comfortable doing that, right? And I think then you go to Usman Khan where you take a guy who's basically his whole life has probably been either an opener or a top order batsman, and now you're moving him down the lineup, right? And he's just not. And you're basically saying, look, you got to go from the first ball, right?
And hit exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and it's different when you have that mentality in the power play because even a mishit can go for a 4 or 6, but when the field is open, right? That ball that you're swinging blindly at, and he has swung at blindly at a lot of balls, right, over the years. So you get out. So it's like that lineup, something like Khwaja Nafi. Like if you've seen Khwaja Nafi play, he is a top order batsman, right? He's a very stylish batsman. Where are you going to put him in the lineup? As much as I would love to see the kid, because obviously you brought him in there for some reason, right? He's only played one T20 international game, but even then you put him in the roster. You could have put somebody else there, right? You could have brought in another spinner. You could have brought in another pacer. There's a reason that you can put this kid in the 15. But where does he fit in, right?
Yes.
And truthfully, if you say if he's gonna play the role as wicketkeeper where Usman Khan is playing, where he's just coming down the lineup, put the kid in there. Let him get some experience, Because if you're not relying on his batting like you're not relying on Usman Khan's batting right now, give the kid a chance.
Yeah, so my take on Usman Khan is I think he'll keep playing because like today he didn't really even get a chance to bat. It was just basically like him and Shaheen miscommunication, getting run out, and he seemed upset about it because, like Vase said, he's the more proper batsman. He should probably cater the strike, but Shaheen has shown six hitting ability, so I don't mind Shaheen taking the strike from him. But at the end of the day, I think right now, Khwaja Nafe, he was in the field today. He dropped a catch. That didn't look good on him. And then, like, I just don't see them making a change with 2 wins under the belt. I think they're going to ride with Usman Khan until something happens drastically where he has like another duck in the India game, or the only way I see Khwaja Nafe coming in is if he replaces an all-rounder and plays as a specialty batsman. I don't see him keeping wicket, especially when you have these spinners like Usman Tariq and Abrar, guys that I feel like are a little difficult to keep against. I don't think he'll be as comfortable behind the stumps. So I think they got to rock with Usman Khan right now. And like AG said, Usman Khan is in PSL he opens and he's had like a couple hundreds. He's like been one of the best batsmen in for Multan Sultans in one of the editions. I think it was like 2023 where he was going
Crazy.
crazy.
He had like like 3 centuries that
Yeah. Yeah,
was
so he's a top order batsman too, so it takes him some time to adjust. And when he comes in at the end of the innings, I think it's a little unfair to judge him. Like it's not fair to judge him at that time. But the innings he had against Netherlands, I think he had time to like get a score and get settled. I think that he just threw his wicket away. So let's
so
see. I think they're gonna ride with Usman Khan right now.
my only problem is, yeah, we can't judge him based off those innings, but like the that's essentially his spot on the team, right? So if he's coming in at 5 or 6, he's gonna come in realistically, if everything goes to plan, like 15th, 16th over, maybe 17th. Who knows? But I think Khwaja Nafe's striking ability is far superior than Usman Khan. I mean, just in the Australia series, Khwaja, he had, I think, 23 runs off 11 balls, striking over 200. And then earlier last month against Sri Lanka, I think he was also striking at like above 150.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
mean, to you guys' point too, it's just like that spin factor where Osman Khan's a far superior, wicket keeper than him. So it's like you gotta, pick your poison at that
Yeah.
point.
I
So
think
I don't
like
know. Yeah.
I think Khwaja Nafe, like you said, has all the shots. Like we saw in that the third T20, that pull shot he played. I don't think anyone on the team
No
right
one can do
now,
that on the team. Yeah.
no one can play a pull like he did. So he has like the insane stylish shots that we want to see. But I think right now, Osman Khan is the more safer option, where Khwaja Nafe is more of the wild card option. Like Usman Tariq, I feel like he's like more of a wild card. We got to talk a little bit about Osman Tariq. I think he's good, but I don't think there's a way where he makes it through the tournament without being called for his action. Because, I mean, as much of a fan of his that I am, I saw some deliveries today on my screen. And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's legal or not. What do you think, boys? Is that like his regular delivery, like the stock one, I think is okay, but when he
When he
tries to
spins it
like
up.
go quicker through the air, like the 95, 100 kilometer delivery, I think it's his elbows looking a little snappy on those deliveries.
Yeah, I think when he bowls that back of the handball, it's good, right? He's
Hmm.
tall, and I think the pause definitely helps him a bit because it throws off the timing for the batsman. But yeah, when he does that faster one, it's a little slingy, right? It looks a little sketch, right? And I think in the Australia series, Cameron Green got out to him on a quicker one, and
Yeah.
he actually like motioned like, oh, this guy's he's slinging the ball, and then he eventually he apologized. I mean, look, he's been checked out, right, by a biometrics lab, and he's been cleared. I mean, the lab was in Pakistan, so who knows? But yeah, I mean, I think there will be some controversy. Like, for instance, let's say today, I think towards the end of the game, he took like 2 or 3 wickets in an over. So if that happens against India, yeah, there will be uproar because that they will complain that there's something wrong with the action. I mean, the whole thing just looks. You have this tall guy. He doesn't have much of a run up, right? He kind of just like kind of prances there and just
Yeah.
pauses, right? And then you don't know if it's going to be the back of the hand. You know if he's going to sling it at you. Like you have no clue, right? And sometimes, like when he does do the back of the hand, it looks really bad because it's like it feels like he doesn't have any control. But again, today he took wickets. right? And it could, even though it was maybe you could say it was tail enders or whatever, but hey, man, he took 3 wickets in this game, so
But I don't think the pause is the issue because we've seen bowlers in the past, like even Ashwin, we've seen like guys like Hafiz, Saqlain Mushtaq, they've had the pause in the action, but I think Usman Tariq's pause is like way more abrupt. Like he just like completely stops
yeah,
instead of like the subtle
UT.
pause. Like he
yeah,
just like freezes and then goes, which is like I think different than all those guys. So I mean, it's interesting, like you said, against India. Like if he takes 3 or 4 wickets, there's no way that he will survive like the uproar and the chucking like allegations. I think he'll be fine, but I don't know. Maybe Twitter's um like corrupting my mind. But I saw some like pictures of his elbow being kind of bent, so I'm a little worried. But let's see how it goes. Um, let's
yeah. I mean,
move on.
here's the thing, right? When you bowl like that and you pause, and his pause is like it's more than
Right when he's
like
about to, like, yeah,
yeah,
right
it's
Yeah,
like
when he's
how
about
do
to throw
you
it.
for the quicker one? How do you generate pace? You kind of have to whip it, right?
yeah, you
And
do, you do.
there's no way, like, if you don't, where do you generate the power from, right? Most players generate power from their action, right? So it's like,
Hmm.
if you're doing that and you come to a complete standstill, obviously everyone's going to think you're chucking, right? There's
Yeah,
no way around it. But he said something like, I don't know, there was you guys saw this report. He said something about, I have 2 elbows in my arms or something like
So
that.
he actually does.
oh
I don't know
yeah,
if you
he
guys saw
does.
the
So I've
video.
seen the video. It's like
Yeah.
one point over here and you got like a second like
Bro,
elbow over here.
it's probably like a cyst or something, bro. What do you mean you have
Yeah,
2 elbows in your arm?
honestly. Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the biggest. We're probably gonna close out the show here, but let's move on to the biggest news of the weekend. Pakistan versus India is back on. We saw the ICC, I think BCB came to Pakistan to talk to Mohsin Naqvi, and the game is back on. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts because we have a group chat and you guys were going back and forth on this on the game and like was it gonna happen? Was it not gonna happen? So Vase, I'm gonna turn the floor to you. How did Pakistan end up handling this situation? Like first they boycott the game and then they go back on their word and decide to play the game. So, what
Yeah.
happened? Can you walk us through?
Yeah, I mean, essentially what happened, I kind of highlighted it during our last pod. Whole thing happened between the BCB, ICB, and the ICC. Sorry, BCB wanted their World Cup matches shifted from India to Sri Lanka. But, maybe 2 or 3 weeks before the tournament was about to start, to AG's point, he's right with that aspect, right? 3 weeks before, two is extremely tough. On the other hand, you could have just switched their group. With all that being said, they were kicked out of the tournament, replaced by Scotland. Now all eyes were on the PCB. Now, the thing with the PCB was PCB and the BCCI already had an agreement that listen, we're not going to come to your place for Champions Trophy in 2025, and in lieu, you don't have to come to India for the 2026 T20 World Cup, which happened, right? But I feel like, as I said last time, is that some of these cricket boards are fed up with the monopoly the BCCI has over the ICC. As you know, ex-BCCI head Jay Shah is now the chairman of the ICC. So essentially, whatever India does or says, the ICC they do implement because it's run by the BCCI. Now, I do like Mohsin Naqvi, to be honest, because he's a bit rash, he's a bit harsh, and what he did during the Asia Cup, taking the trophy because India wasn't coming for the presentation, you can debate both sides to that, but I think there should be some level of respect from every country when they do step on the cricket field, i.e., shaking hands or accepting trophy presentations, irrespective of the person's nationality or whatever country they're from. Now let's go. Now let's fast forward to the boycott, right? So everybody kept hitting me up saying, "Oh, your cricket board is scared this that." And I was telling them the ICC they met demands with Pakistan. Pakistan match are in Sri Lanka. They're like, "Oh,
Hmm.
but they have to stay with the BCB." And I think Pakistan played a masterstroke because the reason they boycotted the match was to show solidarity with the BCB. Whatever the intent was behind the PCB, I don't know their intent. Their intent might be evil, it might be good. You can argue both sides. I'm not going to say it was good because I do know Mr. Mohsin Naqvi from other things too, but he's extremely sharp. I would say he's extremely sharp, right? I'm not going to go on whether his intent was good or bad. I don't want to get into that. But I think to AG's credit too, just the amount of money that this game generates for the ICC, for both for cricket at all. You cannot. Indian population has always said, let's boycott the game.
Yeah.
Government in BC, no, we cannot. So when the PCB did make that decision, I had something in the back of my head, maybe or maybe not, that maybe this is like a chess move, which it turned out to be. Long story short, the ICC came to Pakistan. I think that's important. ICC came to Lahore. BCB chairman came to Lahore. They sat down just a few days ago, reached an agreement. ICC came out with a statement. ICC said that we will not penalize Bangladesh for skipping out of the World Cup or not agreeing to play in India. And on top of that, Bangladesh will be awarded an ICC tournament before 2031. I don't know what tournament is probably going to be Champions Trophy 2029 that India is already hosting. Maybe they'll put a few games in Bangladesh.
Yeah, I think it's Bangladesh gets some revenue from the tournament as well.
Okay, I'm okay. I'm not. I need to check that because when I was trying to look for that too. I heard that in some reports. Look, the article, I wasn't too sure. But I mean,
Okay,
if
we'll
okay,
have
yeah.
to
But I
fact
mean,
check that.
irrespective, yeah. But I mean, irrespective of that, I think it was good. All sides came on board. And I think the clear winner in all of this, honestly, is the Pakistan Cricket Board. I mean, they just found a lifelong friend now in Bangladesh. Sri Lanka's president called up our prime minister. Sri Lanka head of cricket board called up Mohsin Naqvi, said, "Hey, after 2009, we showed support with you guys when we came to tour Pakistan. Even after that, we've been touring, etc." So I think the clear winner in all this is the PCB. Whether their intent, again, I don't know their intent, but just from my standpoint, I think that they're the clear winner in all this, and I'm glad the match is going forward, honestly, and we'll see what happens on Feb 15th. Sorry that was extremely long. I was just trying to go over, just the
No, no, no.
background
You
and
did a
what
you did a
happened with
great
that.
job of
Okay.
explaining the entire
Okay.
situations.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Azen, you can hit the floor.
Yeah, I mean, I think, in our group chat we were going back and forth, and I think I was, going at PCB, but I think this was a huge flex for PCB, right? Even though they didn't gain anything outright from what they did in terms of, extra revenue, they didn't even ask for anything, right? That was the biggest part is they didn't, but they definitely flexed a little bit of muscle. Like you said, there's always been calls from the Indian side to boycott the match, right? Because even if they choose to boycott the match, they know what they're getting themselves into. They know about the revenue that they're going to lose. They're going to, everything that's involved. But being the host, right, and then having your biggest opponent try to boycott the match, right, it kind of stunned them a little bit because they're like, okay, everyone always looks at India as part of the big three, right? India, Australia, England, right? And everyone else is kind of looked at as a minnow, right? Because those are the three biggest ones that drive a majority of the revenue to ICC. So when Pakistan did that, and it directly impacted, it impacted Sri Lanka, right? Because as you said, the president of Sri Lanka called over and said, "Hey, look, this is the biggest selling match. It's a very big deal for us that this match is being hosted in Colombo, right? We have all these people that are coming to this match, that are flying in, that are staying at our hotels, that are eating at our restaurants, right? That are, gonna drive so much revenue to our economy that if you take this match away, it really hurts everybody, from the guy on the ground all the way to the guy at the top, because this tournament is a big boon for a small country like Sri Lanka, right? It brings in so many different tourists, right? It gives a big boost to the tourism, right? So it affected them. And then Pakistan standing shoulder to shoulder with BCB when they didn't have to, right? Now, BCB made that demand. And like I said, had they made the demand 6 months ago or 3 months ago, right? It could have been considered. There could have been some backdoor channels that could have, some conversations could have been had. But they decided to do it just a few weeks before. So at that point, India wasn't left with a choice because at that point, schedules are out, the teams are already moving, flying to the region, right, getting ready for these matches, and all of a sudden BCB goes, "Hey, we're not going to play," right? Obviously, it was over some
But
political
they,
unrest.
yeah, but they did that because Mustafizer was not allowed to play.
Yes.
So yeah, that's why the timeline was so short. But go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I get that part too, right? But it's like at some point, I was against BCB doing that, right? But I understood, right? I mean, obviously that's a very big deal for especially for a player like that because it's not easy. Number one, playing in IPO, which is such a great T20 cricket league by Wesse, one of the best cricket leagues in the world. So I get why it happened, right? And easily Pakistan Cricket Board could have just said, okay, it's fine. Like tournament's gonna go on, we're playing and all that. But to do that, they really flexed some muscle. So definitely some respect to Mohsin Naqvi, definitely some respect to Shabazz Sharif, as much as I hate to admit it. They
Yes,
they
my
they
life is made more.
yeah, I mean they flex, and I was going at Wase the entire time for a few weeks. Like, this is so dumb on their part. Like, why? Because to me it was like this, right? Pakistan being one of the so-called minnows, the revenue that comes from this match really impacts the overall revenue that they make in a year, right? That supports all of their operations, right? Whether it be PCB, PSL, all the grassroots cricket. Like, a match like this size, all the money that comes from all the sponsors, all the broadcasters, the ticket sales, everything. It's such a big boon for the PCB pockets that there's no way that they should be boycotting this game. But all in all, at the end, it was just what ended up happening was it was just a huge flex on their part to say, you know what, we have a voice in this ecosystem, right? Don't try to take it away from us, because now not only are we're not by ourselves, right? We have Bangladesh with us, right? We have Sri Lanka with us, right? You can't just ignore us anymore, right? And this was huge for Pakistan, huge for PCB, right? BCCI, ICC, well, BCCI may not think it's a big deal, but like you said, ICC came to Lahore, right? They came, in other words, they came begging to say, hey, you know what? This game has to happen somehow.
Yeah, so let me add something, AG. You
Yeah.
said that Pakistan needed this. I'm gonna flip the script here, and honestly, Pakistan didn't need this.
Mm-hmm.
PSL is on top. We just added two new franchises. They just sold another franchise, Multan. We just signed Steve Smith for 14 crore. I don't think Pakistan needed this. BCCI came to Lahore. They were on their knees, man. I mean, they needed this game. Mohsin Naqvi cooked them, baby, and
Bro,
it's a
he's
master
now
class.
insane.
Honestly, politics shouldn't be in sports, but as much as I love cricket, I wanted this game to happen. I thought it was going to happen, but once Pakistan boycotted the game first, I don't think they should have went back on their word. I think they should have stuck the middle finger up to India and said, "Fuck you guys. We're not going to play this game. We'll see y'all in the final." And I think that's what should have happened. But I'm happy that they're going to play because I know that Pakistan's going to win on Sunday now. And I'll put like if we don't win, I'll do some crazy bet for the next pod or something like that. But I'm that confident that Pakistan is going to win on Sunday. And like you guys said, this game is gonna feed Indian families, bro. They rely on this game as much as they say that, oh, it's not a competition anymore, it's not a rivalry. They needed this game. That's why they came to us, came knocking, and that's why we went back on our word. Go ahead, Vase.
So I know we're gonna have a pod before the India-Pakistan clash, Feb 15th. AG, I'm coming, baby. I've been waiting for this moment for freaking 3 months ever since Babji
Oh
came back
man,
on the team.
I'm waiting.
But let me ask you guys this: if Pakistan wins the toss, what does Pakistan do?
Bro, I think we had to save this for the preview for the preview.
Okay, okay,
But
okay, okay. I'm getting too
yeah,
excited.
because we're gonna go in like a whole another show here.
I'll give you my answer only because this is the mistake that USA made today. You bat first. You bat first. Here's the problem, right? Everyone thinks that, and it's happened in the last couple ICC tournaments where the teams that bat second have been able to chase down the score, right? But the way that Pakistan is playing right now, and we've always seen this with Pakistan, they just can't chase sometimes, especially in these big pressure games. So just
They
go
can't.
and bat first, please. Like,
Yeah.
USA should have batted first today. They would have beat Pakistan. Oh.
Oh no, I don't know about that. But I would disagree with you here, AG, because we had a sample size of 3 games with India in the UAE, similar conditions, I would say, than like Sri Lanka. Pakistan won the toss or Box. I don't know if I don't remember if they won the toss all 3 times and batted first, but Pakistan batted first in every single game and they lost every single game. I think that India plays better chasing in T20s. I think when they bat first, they're kind of vulnerable, like you saw in that USA game. That they were on the ropes. I feel like when they don't have a target in mind or they don't have a set target, they kind of like go away from their game plan or kind of can falter. So I would go with bowling first against India.
Well, to the contrary, right? What happened with Netherlands is you had a target, and
That's what I'm saying,
it was
bro.
a very low target,
But
and I
we
think
ended up winning.
we did win, but it did take some heroics, and I don't. now, guys, I'm on your side now. I was cheering for the USA. My team's been eliminated. I am fully now back on the Team Pakistan bandwagon. So, for me, if they can give me a performance like they did today against US, and again, the bowling will not be as bad as it was today, but if you put 160, 170, 180 on the board somehow, it becomes a game, right? Because then you unleash all the spinners, and at some point, these Indian batsmen, no matter how good they are, they will falter against that type of spin.
Bro, see, the thing is that I don't think 160 or 170 is enough for India. I think you have to be 185 plus 190 area in
Uh-huh.
order for them to give a fight. I don't think, as good as our spinners are, I think Indian batsmen are more supreme at six hitting, and they know how to chase a target. I don't think 160 170 is a winning score, but we can save this for the next pod,
Hold
baby.
on, wait. If I'm hearing you correctly, I think maybe 200 might be in play. 200,
200,
250?
yeah. No,
250?
if Pakistan wants to win the game, which they will, we need 190 on the board at least, bare minimum. I think 190 is bare minimum. What they scored
Say that.
against USA today, that's bare minimum.
Yeah.
I think 170 and above we're gonna win. 170 in these conditions, bro. I'm telling you, our spin attack right now is. And let's give a shout out to Mike Hessen one more time. Let me tell you why, bro. Any tournament, irrespective of the conditions, we'd always go with 3 full-time pacers, right? It was always a thing. No matter what the hell the conditions asked for, dude, this guy just broke every Pakistani norm that was implemented since Imran Khan's time back in the 80s, bro. Honestly, he said, I'm gonna go with 1 full-time pacer, and we're just gonna go spin heavy. This is what India did in the Champions Trophy 2025. I don't know if you guys recall. It was
Yeah, yeah,
the Champions Trophy, and all their matches were in the UAE. They were in Dubai, right? And I remember
yeah,
watching the Indian team, and I'm like, bro, this is insane. How they're only playing 1 full-time pacer and all spinners. I was like,
yeah. They went
this is
40
just like
overs with spin.
spin, and this is the approach you need sometimes to come out victorious. You have to play chess. And now, thank God, we're finally playing chess. And let me tell you one thing: give Faheem Rana Ashraf at least 1 over in the power play to bowl, bro. I'm telling you, he's gonna take the wicket of Abhishek Sharma. Inshallah.
Man, I can't wait honestly for this game on Sunday, and I think we have to do a preview pod because
Oh,
we have
100%,
so
bro. With the
we have so
predictions of
much to
playing
talk
11.
about. We have so much to talk about. But guys, any other thoughts on on this episode? Any other details you guys want to add? Anything else you guys want to say
Listen,
before we
very, very
close it out?
important for you guys. In an hour and a half is the PSO draft, right?
Oh, baby, I'm tuned.
Listen, I'm more excited about the PSO draft than I honestly am about the game on Sunday, because we have a US
Oh my
based team
gosh.
that's in there now. You don't have to support the team, but I think they're gonna make some noise, right? And I'm very excited to see what they're gonna do. That Hyderabad Kingsmen,
Who's the team? Oh, Hyderabad Kingsman. Okay,
Hyderabad
it's
Kingsmen,
the
yeah.
US
So
based team.
their
Yeah,
owner is
Hyderabad,
from
Houston, Kingsman, right?
Hyderabad Houston Kingsmen, yeah. So they've
Oh,
kind of
really?
Yeah,
yeah,
that's their
that's the
official
official
name.
name, but there's been a lot of controversy. A lot of people have complained, like, why is there a U.S. city name in the middle of it? So they've kind of, in a lot of their social media posts, they've cut it down to just Hyderabad Kingsmen or just Kingsmen alone. But this team, owner is from Dallas, right? And he is a big time player in the cricket scene in the U.S. Like, his roster of players in the U.S. is a who's who of guys that have played for Pakistan, a who's who of guys that have played for, like, they used to come play in tournaments here in Washington D.C. and their opening batsmen used to be Martin Guptill and Sergio Khan, right? I've seen them
Shishir
have
Khan,
Anwar Ali.
bro.
I have seen them at his peak. They had Azam Khan on the team, right?
Oh, baby.
So he is a big player with very deep pockets, very deep connections. So I'm very excited to see what he does in this
There are
action.
some huge names that are not retained. Like I think Babar Azam wasn't retained.
Babar
I
wasn't
No,
in
no,
think
there.
yeah,
was
yeah,
he?
he was
Okay, sorry. But
runner up.
I know Salman Ali Agha wasn't retained from Islamabad. I know Haris Rauf wasn't retained from Lahore Qalandars. So there's like a bunch of guys right now that are like that were a huge part of their team that weren't retained. And then also Multan Sultans was just sold
So
yesterday or the day
Rawalpindi,
before.
baby.
Yeah, now they're shifted to Rawalpindi. I think it's the
It's gonna be
Wali group
epic. That Islamabad
that
Rawalpindi game is gonna be insane.
yeah.
Yeah.
So very excited to see. And like we said, PSL is growing. We're on top. And I'm super excited. They already made some like crazy signings. Steve Smith,
Steve
Moin
Smith for
Ali.
600,000 USD, bro.
Yeah, that is
Six hundred fifty
crazy.
thousand USD for like a PSO is only a month and a half, right? Two
Yeah,
months
Yeah.
max.
A
month and a
month. It's a
half,
month.
Bro, that
Yeah.
month.
650K, bro. That's insane.
Insane.
Yeah, I think
So
these guys at
Sialko.
Kingsman they signed Siam. So
So like,
they were allowed 4 retentions. They signed Siam to some ridiculous. I think it was like 450,000 or something.
yeah,
yeah,
I think it's
yeah, yup,
450.
yup,
Yeah, it was
450K.
crazy, right? So like I
So
said, this guy has deep pockets,
Wait,
and he's
I have
growing
two
his
questions
family.
about the draft. So first things first, is there like a cap space per team for PSO?
Yeah, it's 1.6 million.
Oh, okay, that's what. Okay, so now you already paid
damn,
Steve
so
600. You
damn,
got
so Steve Smith is if it's he's making 600K, they only got like a million for the rest of the team.
Yeah, so I think either I'm not sure if the international signings or the retentions count towards that pool money. I'm not sure. It would make sense if those didn't because I think they're really trying to push this. So the international signings are players that have not played in PSL the season prior. So it has to be
Okay,
somebody brand new, right? So because they're
okay,
really pushing this, and I think, like I told you, that Seattle Stallions team, as soon as they bought the team, a month later they sold 75% of it to some Australian company. So I think
yeah,
there's a really big push from outside investors to get into PSL because PSL's valuation is through the roof right now, right? So I
yeah,
think,
yeah.
and
No,
I
no, go
think the
ahead. And
bigger
I think
the bigger thing is and that we're not thinking about, and I hate to say it because it's PSL, it's my home country. In these tournaments, there's a lot of match fixing that happens. There's a lot of money that gets moved around, right? Which scares me because I feel like to this point, PSLs has been very
has
kind
been
of,
clean.
it's been
Yeah,
very clean. It just feels like it's been very clean, right?
yeah.
Like the teams that are the most talented, like Islamabad United for the longest time has been the most talented
They
team.
just
They've
keep
been
winning.
winning. My favorite team used to be
But
Multan. They won a few, and then Lahore's won a few. So it's like the teams that have the talent have been winning. But I feel like with this outside investor money coming in, it might get a little shaky. But still very excited to see how this draft shakes out.
yeah, no, very excited. And then I think they upped the cap thing too. I think it was like from 40 crore to 50 crore per team. That's what I read, I think, earlier
Okay,
on Twitter. So I think
nice.
they want the owners to go deep in their bag, which I
Yeah,
like, like
yeah,
that's attracting stars. Like we haven't had like a Steve Smith type of player in the last like 4 or 5 years, right?
yeah.
Like I remember like in the first edition we had like Chris Gale and stuff like that, but I think their level of competition wasn't that high at that time. I think now it's starting to shape up, and I think we'll have some. Oh, I think we're up for a crazy season.
Yeah, I think
let
the
me add
big
one more
thing.
thing.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go on. Oh yeah. Also to AG's point, AG, I remember you recall saying that Sialco is sponsored by New Balance.
Hmm.
So what like how'd that entire thing come into fruition? Where PSO teams, shout out Kawhi Leonard, is freaking sponsored by New Balance, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and so is Hyderabad Kingsman. They're also sponsored by New Balance, right? I don't know if you saw.
Yeah, their
Oh, their
their
jerseys
jersey
are,
is nice.
bro. It is so nice. It is so nice. So I think what it is there was probably a backdoor play that was already there, right? With this, and we had this discussion when it came to this Multan Sultansa where we said, hey man, $9 million. That is the franchise fee. That is a annual franchise fee. That they have to pay PSL, right? And that's just the fee. That's not including player salaries. That's not including the logistics of flying team here, there, hotel stay, this and that. I mean, all in all, a season could cost you upwards of 15 million, right? And Ali Tareen, the former owner of Multan, said, "Hey, man, it's we're losing money every single year, but for some people, it's not about the money, right? It's about having a team that's from your city that you were born and raised in, right? So you're willing to dump a
The
little
love
bit
of
of
the
money
game.
there. Yeah, it's for the love of the game, right? So it's like, there's guys that can survive it. Like for instance, the Bashar Zalmi guys have the money, right? Javed Afridi from Quetta has the money, right? The Karachi Kings, Salman, what's his name, Iqbal, I think, ARY guy, he's got the
Yeah,
money,
Salman
right?
Iqbal.
Yeah, so there's people that have the money that do it for the love of the game, but they know they're going to lose money. So when you say they want the owners to spend money, yeah, they do, and the owners know that, hey man, it might be a losing proposition now, but maybe in another 5 to 10 years, right? This league could be worth 100. I mean, it's worth hundreds of millions now, but sky's the limit at that point, right? I mean, you look at IPL, the valuations are through the roof, right? So that could
I
PSL
think
could be next.
yeah, honestly, I think the greatest thing that happened, and I used to be a big fan of this guy, is the Multan Sultan owner, Ali Tareen, whatever, him getting ousted, bro. This, that might be the best thing that happened because now it's going through the roof. It's epic. Oh, also, sorry, one
No,
last question. If I wanted to watch the draft, is it on Willow, YouTube, or
YouTube, the Pakistan PSL official YouTube channel is going to be streaming it. So
watch
check it
again?
out
This is
there.
gonna be sick, bro. This is about to
Yeah,
be
it's going to
dope.
be
Pakistan
sick.
on top. Let's go. Come on.
Yeah, and then South Africa,
Let's go,
Afghanistan starting in
Chelsea.
15 minutes.
Yeah, South Africa,
That's
Afghanistan.
a big matchup.
Yeah,
Big
that
game,
actually is.
big game.
Yeah, I think that's extremely tough group.
I
I
think
wouldn't be surprised with
New
that.
Zealand is going to be New Zealand looks crazy. Their freaking openers are insane.
Finn
So
Yeah,
Allen.
and Seifert, bro.
yeah.
Sorry,
So
was
Seifert looks like
Switzerland
he's like
like
50,
54
bro.
runs.
the Seifert already has 154 runs in the
That's him.
tournament.
Then yeah, Tim.
But Finn
Yes,
Allen went crazy yesterday too. So but thank you guys for coming on. Is great episode. I think very productive. We covered a lot of things.
Can I say one thing
And
before we hang up?
yeah.
AJ, we need a genuine handshake that you will be on the next pod before India Pakistan.
I'll be on the next pod.
All right, thank you.
All right,
Yeah.
all right. No, thank you guys. We appreciate you, AG, for hopping on. Always a great conversation, a great
Cinema.
banter with you. Yeah, it's great. And thank you, Vase, for hopping on. Thank you, Vase, for hosting me last weekend. It was great. We had some great fun in LA. But I'm looking forward to this India Pakistan match on Sunday, and we'll see you guys soon. Peace.
One
All
last
right, boys.
question. If
Peace.
Pakistan wins the final, can we all watch it together?
Let's do it.
Yeah, you guys
Wait,
coming?
when is the World Cup final?
It's
Come on,
Stay
so
on
you
the
guys
line.
might have to,
March.
you guys might have to fly out to Chicago.
March 8th,
March 8th.
6:30
Bro, that's
a.m.
the
So for you, it's
bro,
gonna be
that's the
8:30.
dude, that's the day before my star. So Vase,
Oh,
you
wow.
gotta be in
Let me see what
Chicago.
I could get. Honestly, let me see how the tournament plays out. I think we might have to, G.
All right, sounds good. All right, boys. We'll catch you
All right,
guys for the
boys.
preview pod. Peace.
Peace.